I came here with the intent to sit by the river and read. However, as soon as I get here and I see this beautiful flowing river, I just think, why? I have a good book. Look, let me show you this book I got from the library. Oh! It was called Good Morning Monster, and it was about therapists and the stories they have of children who had really difficult childhoods and the work they did with them over the years to help them recover from it. But I left that one at the office to read some light reading at the office, and I brought this. I got this in the community library. I was looking for something to read once, because I just don't go home and sit in the bedroom, right? I'm not like a hanging out in the living room kind of person. I never have been. And when I'm at home in the bedroom in the house I'm sharing now, it's not quiet outside, but outside the bedroom. And I also just kind of feel weird when there's so much beautiful nature, just like being indoors. It's not cold enough to be hiding away for real yet, which I'm not looking forward to, but I discovered there's a gym in town that's open till 8. So that's gonna be my after work thing. The fishers are leaving, look. There they go. I see a lot of people like out here trying to fish this, fly fishing, and they wade out and they wait. And I keep waiting, like, you know, like, is spectator fly fishing a sport? Because I keep watching them and waiting, and I've not seen anyone catch a fish yet. And there's a lot, by the way. Like when you look right down here, I could see them swimming along, following each other and their little families. And they were big and beautiful. Like, I just feel like I'm kind of part of a lot of the things that people think of when they think about Canada that, you know, has been kind of lost and is getting lost lately. And one of those things are these beautiful salmon, people catching salmon. And that's like a big thing here. Also nature, untamed nature, of which there's a lot out here. But I just love watching the patterns the water makes on the surface. Like, look at that. Look at those interesting patterns. It makes me feel like painting them or something, or like sketching them. But how do you sketch something that's always changing, right? I guess you take a photo. But how could you, oh gosh, I hate when I get my finger in the shot. How could you sit in front of this and read a book? To me, this is like, you know, this is better than James Cameron. I just chose that name. I don't think he's amazing. This is better than, what do you call it? Actually, I don't know if it's better than Guillermo del Toro. Maybe not. I have been waiting. Every once in a while, I make a vision board of things in the future that make life worth living to keep me going. And I think it was about 6 or 8 months ago, on that vision board was Guillermo del Toro was in the process of making Frankenstein movie. And that is one of my most favorite novels of all time. One of my most favorite literary works. People don't know anything. They just see the Frankenstein monster at Halloween. And they don't even know that the monster itself is not actually called Frankenstein. It's the doctor who created the monster. The monster has no name. And the monster is not actually a monster, and you wouldn't know that unless you read the book, which is beautiful. and haunting. And only some people will relate to that book. If I meet somebody and they tell me that this is one of their top favorite works of fiction, and I have met a few people, then I know that we get each other on at least one level, you know what I mean? Like, this place just inspires artists, really. Like, look. I meant to give my justification. I give my justification for that cheap looking book. There was a book that I read off of Oprah's book club 20 years ago, and it was like something that looked like something I would never read. It looked like a chintzy kind of book you might see at the checkout at a grocery store. But I read it, and I remembered it was like really, I think it was called Back Roads. I can't remember, and I can't remember the title of it, but I feel like the author's name was Tammy, and then something short. So when I saw that woman's name, Tammy Hogue, I was like, I wonder if that's the same woman. And I feel like, you know, the book was it was kind of like, you know, like a novel. I'm usually not interested in books that talk about modern day-to-day lives of modern day-to-day people. You know, like, she went to his house and then he said this and she said that and they went there and they did that. Like, books that are like that, I feel like it's really made for censors, extroverted censors, which make up the majority of the human population. They're interested in who did what, when, with who, and where'd they go, and what did they say, and what happened after that, right? That's what they're interested in. I'm not interested in that shit. It's very annoying and boring. I'm usually interested in, like, concepts, or like, what did they think? What did they feel? Why did they think and feel that way? You know, if it has that element to it that I'm interested in, that book, it kind of combined all of that. It wasn't just like a typical censor book. And when I say censor, I'm referring to people who are an S on the Myers-Briggs personality type. And maybe you know people who are N's. We kind of have our pinky in the air about people like that, but we need detail-oriented people to make the world run. Otherwise, we'd all just be sitting around going, why? While, you know, the accounting never happened and the planes fell out of the sky and everything else. I'm just joking. So I'm kind of hoping that this book is written by her, but I can't really tell yet. So far, it's shaping out to sound like it could be a romance. Like, I'm just seeing the archetypes there that appeal to very basic people. There's this, like, beautiful, like, she's really describing, you know, this woman's beauty in detail. Of course she's beautiful, but, like, not perfect. She's, like, kind of undone, right? she's the beautiful nerd girl, right? So she's the girl, you know, that we know from our typical archetypes, who she's a complete nerd. None of the boys like her, but then she lets her hair down and takes off her glasses and she's a supermodel, right? That's typical archetype bullshit, right? Okay. And what is she doing? She's been wronged by somebody and she doesn't know who it is, so she goes seeking him out, and, well, wouldn't you know it, he's a tall, roguish, good-looking guy who has an attitude towards her, but notices something about her that is intriguing to him, and he's starting to develop a little bit of a soft spot to her, but she must break down his barriers. Oh my god. I'm like, I think like 3 chapters in and I'm seeing this and I'm like, oh good god, what's this gonna be? But I decided that, like, I don't know, I'm a 9-to-5er, I'm an office worker now. Maybe that's what I do. Maybe actually no, I decided I am allowed to consume a bit of entertainment from time to time. That's not about gaining knowledge of myself, others, and the world. And, you know, I can read books that are not arcane, okay? It was kind of like I used to be in a relationship many years ago, and that's all we did, and that's why we clicked. Like, we were together for 4.5 or 5 years, I don't remember, and we would just work on, like, trying to figure out the mysteries of the universe day and night. And we would we would have these long conversations, like analyzing ourselves and like our relationship patterns and our conversation styles and how we could have done things different, and observations about people around us. And we have these deep conversations all the time. And then finally we got to a point where we're like, you know what, let's just play some fucking video games. And it was like so nice. Also, like, you know, going to the gym, but sometimes you know, gotta allow yourself to do censor things for fun. Anyone who's watching this and an intuitive type or like a deep thinker or an overthinker, sure, you're going to the gym because like that's good for your body and whatever. And I mean, I could have a more productive hobby, you know, like painting or whatever. I really want to make my own winter coat this year. But I mean, why not allow yourself a little bit of trashy entertainment, you know, especially if you can find some justification in it. Like physically reading a book, I think has value. Especially physically reading a fiction book has value because it allows you to develop empathy. This is my theory. So I find like some of the men I've known or been attracted to in the past, they like don't read fiction books. They never do. They're just like, oh, I just read Atomic Habits or like, you know, the Theory of Relativity or whatever, right? And then you realize that they have no experience possibly looking at a person in a situation and understanding what they may be feeling or thinking. When you read a book, you start creating images in your mind. You start to enter someone else's inner world outside of your own. And you're like, oh, this person thinks, feels, or behaves this way. That's interesting. And maybe it's like that because of this thing I read earlier. And maybe this is what will happen because of what we know about the person. No, they have no experience doing that. And most people don't think like that in their day-to-day lives. So they get zero experience. And by the way, to anybody who's still watching, I haven't seen the new Frankenstein. And my heart is broken because I love Guillermo del Toro. I am in love with him from his interviews. He just has such a beautiful mind. Like, I just love him. And his movies, Shape of Water, Pan's Labyrinth. He did one that was really gross. It was like a bunch of horror shorts. I really did not like that at all. So maybe he's part of the demon crew that's running Hollywood these days now. Who knows? But I was really excited to see Frankenstein in theaters for Halloween, which I cannot do. And I'd also have to go with the demonic ass Netflix to watch it, which I hate doing. But I probably will. And that's sad they didn't release it to theaters. How much did he get for that? Maybe it's full of all kinds of modern nonsense now that it's on Netflix and it has to pass through their filters. Who knows? It may be a huge disappointment, but that's okay because the book wins anyway. That's all I got. Bye. Okay, I'm back. The fisherman returned. This really cracked me up. What on earth could he have possibly gone to get? Is it a better bait? Is it warmer pants? Some guys drove by on boats and waved at me. That was cute. I could hear them going. I'm sure they saw my bright sparkling teeth from a distance. if this guy's gonna catch anything. I was gonna leave. It's getting a little bit cold. It's almost 6, but I just find it so cute how resigned some of these people are. Okay, he's like, okay, let me go back. Let me go get something. I'm gonna come back. And before I thought he was moving, I thought he was moving further up the stream. And I'm like, what is the logic behind that? Is he like, oh, oh wait, where's he going? Was he like, oh, they're not coming this way. Let me, I don't know, like, and I noticed he was in the bend. There's a minor bend in the river. I'm sorry, I'm looking at him with my eyes, not with the phone. And he kind of followed that. Wouldn't it be cool if I caught, I was gonna say, wouldn't it be cool if I caught a bear across the way, but I doubt that would happen. And one thing I know is that bears can actually swim really fucking fast. Yes, even across fast moving water. That happened to me once. Some of you might have remembered that story on my other channel. The bear was riding down the frigging Whitewater Rapids, and we were on like a little, like an outcropping, like